dude. I saw some people get fucked up at the ranch. Like, there's a guy I know out east who went and just, on a stand-up paddleboard on there. Well, serves him right, but full head split, just crazy fucked up stuff. And, Chad Smith dislocated his shoulder there. So, these waves break hard, though, don't they, Rob? Like, they're not. It's solid. Those waves.
Yeah, I mean they break the equivalent to like an ocean wave that size. You see like the slab wave at BSR. It's thick-lipped. It's hollow. It's round. Like a wave like that in Jersey or New York, that slams you on the sand. You're gonna get slammed.
And it's asphalt, right, or concrete? The bottom.
Yeah, just like the bottom of the pool. Everyone asks about that. Gonna hurt. Yeah, everyone always asks like, must get so hurt like how on the concrete, but I guess when you think about it, like sand or reef, you hit that, it's the same thing. And then
concrete rash, heavy scab, bro.
Yeah, I definitely saw some people posting their like wave pool scars.
Like Kiani walks up on a like some like skate, fucking like hoverboard or some shit, and like here's some aloe lotion.
So speaking about injuries, I did want to touch on your video series Numbskulls, which is how I found that Irish edit back in the spring. That I was like, these guys are having so much fun. Talk just a little bit about this, because it does feel like it's so much fun. It's like you and your buddies, and they're a little bit longer edits than what you'd find on Instagram, which I like. Tyler and I are all about long format, even though your stuff's like 5 to 8 minutes. But it does seem to be your visual diary of like your great days in Jersey and places afar. But bring us into it, because it's just it's so fun to watch.
I appreciate that, man. And I liked hearing that. I'm glad that you enjoyed that island bit on that, helped you out during that. That's rad to hear. But basically it's what me and my buddies would do. We would see a swell, we'd go with a filmer, invite our friends, and go chase it to wherever we thought it was best. And we'd always film, just kind of like you said, for those, like, just to get those one or two clips on for Instagram, maybe hope that we can get a clip on Surfline for the swell or whatever. And then we would just kind of look back at like everything that happened in between just those one or two good waves that you saw would end up on Surfline or Surfer Mag or whatever. And there's a lot of fun and kind of adventure, entertainment that goes into like the behind the scenes stuff, the whole search. So we just kind of worked on recording that. And yeah, we kind of just it's just an honest look. Ryan Smallcheck, he's really good at like capturing the moments that are pretty natural. So yeah, we just kind of do what we've always been doing, but we just kind of packaging it a little better, came up with a name with it. Actually, Sid Abruzzi from Rhode Island, he's give him the credit for Numbskulls. We were up there chasing a swell. He told us a story about when he was kids, they would try to see who could last the longest into the winter without wearing a hood.
Right.
Called themselves the Numbskulls crew. And you guys know Sid is just hilarious. So we were like, man, that's a classic name. And we named the series after that. So shout out to Sid.
Sid, legend.
The original Numbskull, yeah.
Dude, but you have a really interesting career. Like you were a sales rep, but you're a regional marketing manager now for Billabong, but you're also working for American Wave Machines. You're a pro surfer too. Like how do you balance all of that? I know a lot of it kind of obviously feeds into each other, but still, like I mean, first, what are you having to do for Billabong marketing wise? And yeah, kind of curious, like what sort of projects you're working on.
Yeah, so my role with Billabong as like the Northeast regional marketing manager started like back when actually I signed with them. I kind of signed like a hybrid deal to be an athlete and also take on some marketing roles. And back then we were doing like a lot of like the tours with the summer tours with the buses and like a lot more activations than are going on now. So that role was a lot of fun. And when we were doing all the summer tours and kind of stuff, it was cool to kind of get that like marketing background while I was still competing and just kind of like representing Billabong as an athlete as well. And like you said, a lot of it goes hand in hand. A lot of times I would like run an event. We did like this toe act contest with Metallica.
Oh yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. I pretty much helped.
Tell us about that.
Tell us about that.
Yeah.
Rest of the show.
Festival, this Metallica put on a festival, the Orion Fest in Atlantic City. And Kurt Hammett and Robert, we've worked with them in the past. They're surfers. They've had like a board shirt line together. They've done other projects and stuff with Andy Irons and stuff. So they, from what I remember, they reached out to us. Hey, is there any way Billabong wants to be involved in this festival? So they kind of gave us like a green light to like whatever capacity we wanted to do something, let's do it. So we thought to put together like a toe out event because it was in the summer. We figured regardless of the waves, we'll be able to put on some kind of like action. If we have a toe out event, the beach would be packed. Like there's like 30,000, 40,000 people that showed up to this festival. So we took Kurt and Robert, took them doing toe acts on the beach in Atlantic City, whipping them into the waves. And that was just like an unbelievable experience. But then we also like invited all the East Coast pros and ran a toe out event where those guys were on the beach watching, kind of commentating.
Were they pumping music out onto the beach while they're getting towed?
Yeah, we
No
were
way.
playing. We called it the Seek and Destroy air show.
I love it.
Yeah.
Do you get to come up with some of the concepts for the events?
Yeah, so I worked alongside Mike Walls. He's like the North American marketing manager. So we worked together on orchestrating that, and then I surfed in the event and ended up winning it too. So that was like kind of those examples of where that like
taking all their money.
It was just one of those.
Isn't there laws against that?
You're like, put this to my better healthcare plan. Put it in my 401k.
But there's like just things like that where it kind of went hand in hand. I was when I was like kind of a little bit reluctant to sign like a marketing role while I was still kind of pursuing that as like a professional surfer, still trying to make a career out of just surfing. But after doing it for a couple of years, like, so ended up being like the best thing that I've ever done as far as like keeping my career going. Because for example, the regional marketing managers, everyone got furloughed during COVID. And I was fortunate enough that the athlete side of things kept me on. And I'm sure there was times throughout my career when I wasn't doing as much as an athlete that marketing role kind of helped me renew my contract. So, I don't know. I guess just for some kids, like obviously the industry's changing a lot. You never know what's really going to go on now, but something to think about if you're a kid trying to make a career out of it, but not 100% sure, should you, what to pursue, where to put your thing. You can do both.
When did you first?
Sorry, I was just going to say, I'm really surprised not more people do that. Not more companies offer that for surfers. Because to me, that's like one of the best things you can do, because you're in surf shops, you're in the ground level, you're getting to see all that's happening. That's incredible intel that you feed back up the chain. And if you had other pro athletes, like they're then forced to engage with everyone too. And that's just only good for them. And I think it also makes you, like as a pro surfer, also aware of the other side. Like, the engagement with people is one of the most important aspects to my job on both ends. And I think that's, I'm actually surprised more companies don't look at this type of model. You get more bang for your buck too, you know? It's
Yeah.
like,
And I think the brands would love it. I think, and like I was guilty of this, like when I was making that decision to sign like a deal kind of like that. It almost felt like as a pro surfer, I was kind of like not giving up, but kind of, you know, whereas these kids that
compromising,
might compromising, that's the word. Yeah. Where some of these kids, and again, I guess every situation is different. If you want to make the tour, you have to be 100 and there's no compromise.
Yeah.
So some of these kids that are faced with that decision, like, do I just try to go full on for the tour? If that's what you want to do, I mean, you have to do it. You can't take a role like that. But it is good to just know that, like you said, you can make a career with the compromise, and that both kind of add value to each other. So I guess it's not for every aspiring pro surfer, but I think there is opportunity.
Well, I think it's worked out really well for you in a sense, like, especially during COVID, like the guys who are on tour, you know, they actually, you know, they're a lot of them got furloughed or had issues. And I mean, look at Julian Wilson, like he's suing Hurley right now, and they're trying to get him out of a contract because he's not surfed in 3 contests this year. And it's like, dude, COVID, you know? So it's like,
yeah.
I think a lot of them actually have been put on the back foot, whereas more of the working horse kind of surfers who are doing photos and more being seen and just are always out and about anyway are probably excelling a little bit more to some extent. I mean, and social media has changed that. I just want to jump in. How has social media changed your professional surfing career? You know, because you've been a pro for a while and like you've seen the arc.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's almost changed 180. The cool thing is, and the thing that I like, it kind of it puts you in the driver's seat. You kind of determine the value, and the amount of effort that you put out translates to kind of the value that you get back. Whereas before, there was a lot more politics that kind of dictated that. I know, like, the age-old thing being a pro surfer from the East Coast was the California kids always got more opportunities because they were there in California where the marketing managers, where the team managers were, and the team managers were only seeing what they could see. So, yeah, you got a good wave on the East Coast. Unless Surfer Mag posted a photo of that 6 months from the time you got it, you might have got some value there, but it took a long time. Meanwhile, the kids in California doing airs at lowers, their team managers were seeing them ripping all the time. Whereas now, every wave you get on the East Coast, and thanks to just the camaraderie of the East Coast and how stoked everyone is, anytime something happens on the East Coast, all the media sites push it because it gets the most engagement. And that's not from the California guys looking at it. It's from all of us.
Also, the narrative, going back to the Numbskull series, like, that's something that it seems like you create, you know, you collaborated with your crew and you push it out, right? So it's not like you relied on a magazine or a Surfline to tell your stories of going up and following Paulette. Like, you put that together, pushed it out, and now we can follow your trip all the way up to Maine. Likewise, you know, the New Mibia Jersey Barrel stuff. Like, you guys created some of that concept, and that's your story, right? So that seems to be an evolution thing that's obviously social media enabled.
Yeah, because you figure that, I mean, as East Coast surfers, that's been going on for the past 10, 20 years, but it just was never really seen like it has the ability to be seen now. So I think, like, speaking as an East Coast surfer, I think social media has really helped us a lot and leveled the playing field probably for surfers all over the world that are kind of in the same position as the East Coast. Like Ireland, for example. Like, Ireland's probably a perfect example. Every now and then you'd see like a trip in Surfer Mag, and it was kind of a novelty thing. Now you see the waves that they get in the winter, like almost on a weekly basis. And like Portugal, same thing.
Nazare.
Yeah, Europe has more waves than like Hawaii. But
It-
it's always happened, but now people see